Hey there, brothers and sisters in Christ. Pray that you all are doing well in the faith and that you're continuing to strive with the Lord and in the Lord. I wanted to share something quick with you guys, somewhat quick. This is pertaining to an article that I fell on last year in a dream that I was given from the Lord, and also something that I fell on, I believe, last month and a half. Now, I'm not putting anything on anything, but I wanted you to use your own discernment and just leave it at that. But I did want to share it with you all. So, starting with the article that I stumbled on last year, there was an article, an Interfaith Dialogue article that Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar signed, and this article was pertaining to faiths coming together to unite for peace sake. And with that, it is tied to what they say, climate change, making the world better, all in all, for the sake of our quote-unquote, what they said, homeland or Mother Earth or whatnot. So I read this article and I'm reading through it, and the next thing you know, I had just questions in my heart. So I took it to prayer and I was like, Lord, is this something that we need to look out for as your saints? Is this something that we need to look out for, or is this nothing that we could just bypass it? So I go to sleep, and this is where I'm going to start off the video. I'll let you listen to what I said a year ago. And then after that, I'm going to show you what I fell on a month and a half ago. Again, I'm not putting anything on anything. I'm just going to allow you to use your own discernment. Got to share the dream. All right, so after I read that first article, I wrote down and I went into prayer asking the Lord, what was it about? Again, before I share it, I apologize. I just want to let you know everything that was said unto me, it was pertaining to what I had read concerning this particular article, or concerning what the world, the nations are doing as far as interfaith dialogue coming together, and this climate change or whatever aftermath that this thing is going to bring. Whatever it is, I'm going to let you listen to it, what the Lord said unto me. Sorry about that. Hold on. What was it about? And I lay down and I went to bed. I started drifting off to sleep. And as I was sleeping, I heard someone say, cursed. That's what I heard. And then I was made to wake up. I was made to wake up when I heard that. And I wrote it down. I lay back down to go to sleep. And then as I was sleeping again, I heard selling. Made to wake up. I wrote down selling. Lay back down. Went back to sleep. This is all at night. Then I heard 8 years. Made to wake up again. I wrote down 8 years. No, but it took me a while to go back to sleep because I heard 8 years. I said, Lord, what do you mean 8 years? 8 years. Lord, can you explain that to me? Will you reveal that to me? What do you mean when you said 8 years? I lay back down, my brother. I ain't get anything back. Lord ain't say nothing after that. I was even. So I want you to hold fast to what was said. Again, he said 8 years. I did this article last year. It makes it now 7 years. Now I'm going to show you what I fell on a month and a half ago. Again, I'm not putting the two together, but as soon as I seen what I seen, it just brought me back to last year of this article and what I asked the Lord in prayer.
The clock is ticking to save our planet from the growing threat of climate change. Its impact is visible across the world. And now an actual clock tells us exactly how much time we have to ourselves from this destruction. Take a look.
7 years, 102 days, and 7 hours. This is the time we have to save the world, at least as per the newly installed climate clock in New York. Climate campaigners have unveiled this huge climate clock at New York's Union Square. The clock gives a countdown until we burn through the carbon budget. That is, the amount of greenhouse gases which can be emitted before Earth's temperature goes up permanently by 1.5 degrees Celsius. A change of 1.5 degrees might seem minimal, but its impact can be drastic. The United Nations has warned of drastic environmental changes if this 1.5 degree threshold is crossed. The Earth could lose its coral reefs and the Arctic sea ice.
This is arguably the most important number in the world, and it should have this kind of a placement in the center square of our society. So that's why we put the clock up today, and it hopefully will stay, and people will see it as a important reference point, as a way to stay honest with our challenge.
The climate clock has been installed as part of the Climate Week, an international summit involving New York City and the United Nations. The climate clock will be on display until September 27th. It's a reminder of the time before we reach a critical tipping point, and a reminder for us to turn things around before something irreversible happens. Viewer Report, We On, World is One.
Like I said, done this article a year ago. Last year, I heard 8 years. This year, it makes it 7 years. Then I found myself falling on that video, and I said to myself, out of the years to start a countdown for climate change, why 7? Think about it, brothers and sisters in Christ. Like I say, the Lord never told me what would happen after that 8 years, or now we're talking about 7 years. So I don't know. That's why I'm not going to say anything, because I don't know. But that's something that I wanted to share with you. You may say, okay, that your article is talking about interfaith dialogue, but this thing is talking about climate change. Well, you must understand that interfaith dialogue, in which the world is seeking to come together, it is aligned with this climate change. Let me find an article, but what they're stating is that if we would come together and stop the wars and bring about peace, then we can work together to fix our homeland, quote unquote, this Mother Nature, our world. But if you don't believe me, I'll just find an article, just 1 second, or even a video. Here's a pretty good one that I actually just stumbled on. Again, interfaith dialogue is aligned with climate change.
We are called by God to actually walk lightly upon this earth, meaning that we're not supposed to have like very high carbon footprint.
Climate change makes every single concern of the faith community worse.
The issue of climate change is ultimately a moral issue. this is the greatest human challenge of all time.
It is our own interest, actually, to bring this issue to the wider audience.
We need this planet, the water, the seasons, the animals.
There's a New Testament passage where the Apostle Paul talks to one of the churches in one of his letters and says that the whole creation groans awaiting the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. And that to me is like the hour is now.
This is the time, ladies and gentlemen of the faith communities. We have to step forward.
I thought I'd share another one, and then I'm just going to end this video, but just something to think about. Like I said, I'm not putting two and two together because the Lord never really said anything to where I can share it and confirm it with you all.
Religious leaders gathered in Hartford today for a day of interfaith dialogue.
But as News 8's Josh Scheinblum shows us tonight, they did a lot more than just talk.
Bells ring to call the faithful. All the faithful. Buddhist and Jew. Christian and Muslim. They're together at Asylum Church in Hartford to change the world.
There's so much that we have in common that we share, much more than that which might divide us.
They're joined not just through prayer, but through science. This is the Climate Stewardship Summit, a conference for the religious to discuss combating climate change.
Science basically asks the question about how do things work. Religion asks the question, why do they work the way they do?
A new report issued this week by the World Meteorological Organization says greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is at an all-time high, and that's why people here at this event say something needs to be done.
And I can tell you quite definitively that climate change is real. And not only real, it's caused by human activities.
Kareem Ahmed is an environmental scientist at the University of Connecticut. He says to begin to fix the planet, religious communities have a role.
We may be talking about different theologies, and often sometimes not even theologies, but they do all have one thing in common, that we all care about this earth, and we have prime responsibility to make sure we leave this earth as good as we found it from our grandparents for our children and grandchildren.
There are those that think science and religion can't go together. Today's event tries to show not only that they can, but that they do. In Hartford, Josh Scheinberg.